Over here, his first time on the ice. Where you at, Tyler? Your mom was telling me you put your pads on the wrong side.
Yeah.
first time she wanted me to bring that up. You had your left on your right and your right on your left.
How did that work out?
I don't know. She didn't say.
She also said something about how you puked all over the locker room. You couldn't aim the trash can. You're like,
That was interesting.
And then we were in Lancaster for in-house, and he cried the whole way to Westchester. I don't want to play down there. I'm scared. I don't want to go down there.
Hey, Derek.
Crying his eyes out. Him and his older brother.
how scared you guys.
And because my nephew played, he watched our games, and he just thought he wasn't good enough to do this. And I guess I don't know if he is still good enough to do it, but he's still doing it 12 years later. But I think he is. So that's all I have to add.
Stories, but this one I remember. I was coaching Stephen. How old are you? 11. I think you might have been 12 or 13. And I'm coaching, and the kids weren't playing very well. And so of course I take it out on Stephen. I said, "You're playing like an a-hole. Get off the bench. Go to the locker room. You're done, right?" So he goes to the locker room, watch on the screen. The kids are yelling at him, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Get out of here. All yous are going to go." So he goes. He can't get in the locker room. So I look over, I run over, "Come on, get back here, get back on the ice." So he gets on the ice, he scores a goal, and the little kid about his age looks at me, "Who's the asshole now, coach?" I'll never forget, he looked at me. All right, that's it.
Nico's first team he played up because his brother was playing at sport level. Well, Nico, his feet would go a million mile an hour, couldn't stop really well, like maybe starting out. Well, one kid was going around everybody on the team, so I said to him, I was helping out on the door, I said, "Nico," I said, "just go right at that kid and watch his chest." Well, I didn't explain myself clearly. The kid comes behind the net, Nico goes right at him and takes him out. No check. Playing on the ice. I go over, I said, "Nico," he goes, "I took him out."
And it was not ice hockey, it was street hockey. And he would play with his brother, neighbors, and a bunch of older guys. And he had a phenomenal backhand. Everybody said it's incredible. His backhand is phenomenal. Come to find out about a year or two later that it was his forehand. So he didn't know if it was the right.
He didn't know his left from his right.
But I do appreciate all the great years, Sean. It's been a pleasure. It really has been.
Guys, he was a little older. So his first travel hockey, he had a tryout, and they did pretty well at the tryout. It was a game. And so he had his first practice coming up, and it was with the Colonials. And it's about first impressions. I wasn't there, but his mom took him to practice, and they were running a little bit late. So on the way to practice, he wolfed down 3 slices of pizza. I think he was a little bit nervous.
From a brew house.
They got him, started practicing, and I guess they just start, with standard sprints and whatever. And pretty soon into it, he started skating over to the coach, just starting to say, "I'm not feeling too well." Puked all over him, right through the right on the ice. That was a great first impression, but he stayed on the team, so I guess.
Well, you had no problem coming up with the story, did you? That was just jumped right out.
We all remember when the kids were little and how many times we were in a locker room like we are right now tying skates. I remember how many times I tied your skates too, but and probably something more than skates here too. But the thing that's really cool is as these guys have grown up for me is your team here. But when I see you out playing in high school and stuff like that, and you're playing against the thing that just comes to mind the last couple of weeks was we Conestoga played Garnet Valley, and Timmy and Swit and Caldwell are going up against Nico. And you just see them on the ice together, and things happen, but they're smiling at each other. In a line after the game, they're patting each other on the head, and just the friendships across everything is just really cool to see.
Give us your best one.
So Ryan was about 2.5 or 3, and we lived in Boston, and the Lowell was getting a team, the Lock Monsters, remember? And so we show up, and Bobby Orr was there, and I kind of knew a little about Bobby Orr, but I wasn't native of Boston. I didn't realize it was like Jesus Christ walking on the ground there. So he actually took Ryan and held him a little bit, and
Dropped.
him, yeah. It's funny though.
End of story.
That's the problem.
One of
So I
them.
figured, I've got, he somehow was blessed by Bobby Orr, but, the next week when he was out on the ice, he cried and ran and he was afraid of the Zamboni for the whole first season.
That's his
I'm telling you,
kryptonite.
He would come over to the board and it was just like he'd be pounding on the board to get off the ice. It cracked me up. But the guy who led the workshop finally told him that the Zamboni was not out there to swallow him.
I can remember the first tryout for Malvern, and you can do your little noise that you do. You showed up and did that.
Come on. It came with a dance too, didn't
Showed up in
it?
the locker room with nobody knew, and he started doing the cricket noise, and the kids were like, "Look at all around." So he just kept doing it, and then all of a sudden the three kids next to him were like, "Who the hell are you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm Drew Whitney." And he's like, "What year are you?" And he's like, "Freshman." He's like, "Jesus Christ, you're a big freshman." He's like, "Welcome to the team." And then the other funny story is we played a lot of summer hockey, and in particularly went up to Brewster, New York. And Brewster's pretty interesting because it's your typical New York, the accents, the whole 9 yards. Typical refereeing, where the one game we were up there, we were up in the balcony, and the ref, I guess it was the end of the second period, goes, "Everybody in this section over to here, you're gone, get out." So me and another guy stood up and we were like, "What do you mean?" We were like, "The kids would be better off if you frickin' just left yourself and let them call their own penalties." And the whole bench erupted. It was pretty cool.
We didn't start early, like some of you guys started at 3 and 4 years old. We started down in Gap, that inline program down there in Ross. Were really involved in that for years. And then our neighbor boys across the street, they were involved in it. And our
you're
neighbors
right.
beside us were involved in it. And we had a pretty big paved driveway, so we'd always, all the kids would come over, at our house and play hockey on the driveway and stuff like that. And they keep saying, "Man, you guys ought to come down." So we did it one time. We thought, "Well, all right, we'll go down." He wanted to try it. And then our coach, she was a lady, and she said that Darren was the last kid to be picked out of everybody because nobody knew who he was. And they thought, well, he was the last one to be picked. And then once he started playing, we could see how he went down and would score goals, and he was out there quite a bit. And then we thought we'd try travel. So we tried out to Lancaster and did the Squirt B, started out with that. And the first year he got most improved player, I guess. So that was 8, 9 years old, something like that. Something like that. So that's how we started with our hockey career. Because I know me and one of the other dads were talking years ago.
Yeah.
You got that right.
When TJ was little, I guess before he was 5, he's a twin. So they were in cahoots, him and his sister. And we knew early on he was going to be a goalie because he just used to do the stupidest stuff.
What do you mean you used to?
Off the porch. Well, it was a 10-foot drop and he had a 15-foot porch. He learned the hard way. He thought he was Tigger one day and he jumped down the steps, all the way down the steps into the basement, hit his head, got a concussion, and hit the hospital. Then he got his head stuck in between the railing of the stairs. So he told his sister to go back into my tool room and grab a saw and cut his head off so he can get out. Then we knew he was going to be a goalie for life. I got a million ice stories, but it's been a great journey. It's been an awesome time. So.
I'm going to jump in now because when Kent was in-house, I think it was in Lancaster, they threw him in goalie for a little bit, and we steered him away from that very quickly because we knew what it was cost to get into goalie, so that was the end of his goalie. And one of the memories I have of Kent was probably just a couple years ago down here in Maryland. We were playing Silver Sticks at Laurel, I think. and we were in the finals, and we went into overtime, went to the 4-on-4, 3-on-3, ended up in a shootout. Kent was the third man in the shootout, and we were down 1, I think, and he got a goal. And then we ended up losing, but it was a memory and a highlight of watching Kent.
So you can score on a breakaway. Can we not?
Yeah, ours is we, like this. We do all kind. We did, all you do with hockey is travel when you play this, and some of the best stories are from your tournaments and all kind of events and road trips. And we've always had a good time. And I'll never forget any of the road trips because we always had so much fun. Me and him, and the one time we rented some piece of crap Jeep, and we're up in Massachusetts, and we're coming back. And of course, I want to drive through the night. It's like midnight, and we're starving. We haven't eaten. We've been driving 5 hours, so I pull off in New York at some crap McDonald's on the turnpike, and we pull in and we're starving, and we go in and buy like 2 bags of all this slop, and we eat it in the Jeep. I start the Jeep, we don't even get on a 95, he goes, "Oh my God, I'm gonna crap my pants." And he's only like 9, he's just a little kid. And he's sitting there, he's got his feet against the floorboard, I'm going, "Hold your ass cheeks together." And there's another, we don't even make it, it's like 4 miles, there's another McDonald's. It's like, I'm doing like 100, this piece of crap Jeep driving. I get off the exit, he's like, "Oh my God, I'm not gonna make it." I'm like, he's clenching, he's holding on to the dash. And I don't even get the car and park, he jumps out the door, and he runs into McDonald's and cracks himself in there and comes out. He comes out and he's like, "Oh my God, I'll never eat McDonald's again." He's never eaten McDonald's again. He's like, "I'll never eat this shit again." Throw it out the window. And it was just one of the road trips. Oh, it's just so funny. Trying to drive home.
John didn't like to get his hair cut. He likes a little more now, but as a squirt, he wouldn't get it cut, and the hair would start to come out of it. So his coach nicknamed him Flowers. It stopped for a couple of years, and he was
Remember that.
Do we get everybody?
What about
his first foray into hockey? Well, obviously was the learn skate. We started that when he was about 2 or 3. He went down a couple times. He said, "I'm done. That's it." So we took a couple of years off, and then he went back in and started playing elementary and for school hockey, and that was half ice over at Iceworks. And I was pretty religious. I didn't want to miss the first goal, so I had the video, and that's part, you want to watch for real, but, you're watching, you're doing the video thing and everything. And he gets his first goal, and so I have some real high quality footage of the roof, the ceiling at Iceworks. As my hands are up in the air, and I got about 10 seconds of the wall in rink 2 at Iceworks. And I totally missed the goal and everything. I saw it coming, and I went, like this, and that's probably, as a dad and your son's first real foray in hockey and playing yourself, that feeling that's going through him at that time. And that, he had been bugging me, he wanted to play goalie, and I said, "Remember when you scored that first goal, that warm sensation that went through your whole body? Well, you're never going to have it again." Needless to say, the goalie pads have not ever come out.